I responded to the guy asking the question why I'm so mean to you every single show. And then Brett told me that I looked distracted and annoyed the last show. I said, well, when John Murray is so important, and I've been sitting in this chair since 9 a.m. on Wednesday, usually by like 5 or 6 o'clock, I'm like, let's get the show on the road.
But let's talk about this. Because
how important you are and how unimportant I am.
I maintained before the season that it was always going to be hard for me to do it in the middle of the workday on a Wednesday. You guys insisted. Yes, you did.
I could have done it on a Thursday.
It's 2 o'clock
Thursdays
on a
are way
Wednesday.
bewe just lost him already.
Easy for me
we already lost him. Oh, John Murray.
Oh my God.
How's your day going so far? How was your meetings?
Actually, until the call I was just on, my day was fine. But wait till you hear this story.
Are you allowed to tell it on air?
No.
Okay, so let's talk some other stuff. I have a question. I know a lot of guys in the questions in the mailbag want to know what we're doing for Survivor, but at what point do we stop telling our competition or Survivor? Like, I mean, only 34 or 35, something like that got knocked out last week. So there's still 1,200 plus people. But what point do we just start saying, all right, we can't talk about this on the show anymore?
I got to give Kelly, I'm going to answer that. First, I want to give you a compliment. I thought that it was going to be impossible to talk to you this weekend about Survivor because I figured, Kelly's going to be a drunken fucking mess at the K-State game. And no, I thought. And then on Saturday morning, I texted you, and you FaceTimed me. And you weren't drunk at all. And we had a rational conversation from the game. And then we submitted the play. I was totally wrong. I'm sorry.
Okay, great. Well, what I did was when we were down 17-0, I took a case of my buddy seltzer and I ran up to we were in club level. And I ran up to the cheap seats with all the K-State fans. And then I got drunk. So after I was like, this game's over. This sucks.
What kind of seltzer was it?
It was called Big Hat. It is a Texas-only seltzer. It was good. It was like vodka mule, basically. So I enjoyed it. We had a good time. Austin's always a great time. It's a little dumpy, but it's a capital city, like I try to remind everybody. But some really solid restaurants, great Mexican food. We went to this moonshine bar Friday night. That was kind of nuts. It's been a while since I've drank moonshine. I think the last time I did that would have been Morgantown. So, went to bed early, 11:30, which is early if you're out on vacation. Yeah.
Well, for you, that's early. For me, that's late.
Well, I went to bed real early Saturday night because I was so pissed off after the game, as you could probably tell by my tweets. I just was not pleased with some of the play calling. K-State easily could have won that game.
Can I talk about that a little bit? So, Kansas State last season, they won the Big 12. Is that correct?
Correct.
And what bowl did they play in last season?
The Sugar Bowl.
The Sugar Bowl. And this year, their record's what? I really don't know.
They have 3 losses.
You really think they should be firing the coach that took them to the Sugar Bowl?
Okay, I didn't say firing. What I said was, last time we lost in Austin, Courtney Messingham got fired. Okay, here's my problem. And K-State fans think I'm an irrational bitch, and that's fine, and I can be. But we auditioned Colin Klein. He was co-offensive coordinator, which I didn't agree with Andre Coleman. Then Bill Snyder left. Chris Kleiman came in, and they said, okay, we're going to leave him on here on, see how things go. They fired Courtney Messingham in the Texas game, okay? Then K-State plays LSU in the Texas Bowl. I went to it. We were 23.5-point favorites because every single person on LSU's squad either opted out, Brian Kelly, they didn't even
killed on that game.
Yeah.
We got killed on that game.
It opened 7 and it got bet. It was I remember Megan taking it live, minus 23.5. I go, you shouldn't do that. And then at the very end of the game, LSU scored a late touchdown. So Colin Klein in that game, which was his supposed audition to be offensive coordinator, he was very aggressive, right? Bill Snyder, love him. He is the reason why I love Kansas State football. He did so much for that program. But we have to admit, there was plenty of times he got a little too conservative. Maybe that's why he never won a national championship. I want to see The ball being thrown downfield. I want to see the running game when we have a two-headed monster in DJ Giddens and Trayshawn Ward open up. I'm sorry. That fourth down play call that imploded within half a second, I saw it because I was in that end zone. I was like, what the fuck are we doing?
Oh, Jesus.
So all I said was the last time we went into Austin and lost a winnable game, I just thought it was just not necessary. Did I say he deserved to be fired? No, I did not. But I don't think the fall. I don't think the fall comes on the players. That I will say. I don't think Will Howard played a relatively mistake-free game. The running game couldn't get going against one of the worst rushing defenses in the Big 12. Everybody else has been able to run all over them. How come we couldn't? I don't know. Again, I don't get paid $1 million a year as an offensive coordinator, but sometimes I think I should.
Don't you think you've got kind of a high bar here for Kansas State? I mean, you guys are Kansas State. You're not Georgia or Alabama. You expect to be doing better than Big 12 championship and Sugar Bowl?
Okay, well, last year the Big 12 championship was kind of a weird by default kind of thing. That being said, they also lost at TCU. They got beat at home by Tulane, which I was not happy about, as 13.5-point favorites. And
you talking about last year?
Yes, when the year they won the Big 12.
Went to the national championship game last year.
And that's fine. That was their national championship. But then they got boat raced. K-State was up 17-0. I was on a boat in the Caribbean. We got
That's a
from
brag.
the boat
It's a brag, folks.
to the bar. And somehow in that 28 minutes of time, it was like 35-17. I was like, what happened? It was terrible.
Kelly had a tough weekend. The sports books did not really do very well this week. At least we didn't. The results in professional football were too public. I don't know how else to say it.
I didn't bet very much. I bet your winner, and then I had Seattle that got absolutely crushed.
Do you feel like I played golf yesterday with a former sportsbook director, a friend of mine, and he said,
"What's he doing these days?"
He said that he's playing golf with me.
Yeah,
he said that he thought that the whole thing of my picks it was too touty, like a tout service. He said,
well, if you'd like to start selling your picks on a Wager Talk, I can facilitate that for you.
He said he even almost tweeted about it, and then I corrected him. I was like, well, actually, they call it X now. And I was like, but I would welcome it if you wanted to take shots at me on social media. So if we do win again
I
this week,
haven't seen his social media in months. I didn't even know he still existed as a person.
First of all, you don't even know who I'm talking about. I said an X.
Oh, I know exactly who you're talking about.
And he said he might X us to make fun of me. I got to pick another game tomorrow. I'm going to be on the show on Nesson with Sam tomorrow, Thursday.
Do you know who you're going to pick?
No.
You don't. You have no idea. You don't have a list, like a couple possibilities?
So the whole joke is, no, not the whole joke. The whole premise is picking a super contest game.
Okay.
We just put the super contest lines out in the last 45 minutes.
Okay.
So I got to look at it. I'll come up with something tomorrow. It'll win. It'll win.
Okay.
Do you want to go through college football? How'd you do last week? Other than you had like a 4-minute rant there about Kansas State. Keep the rant short.
I mean, they covered.
Yeah.
I probably shouldn't rant. I went 3-4 last weekend. Not terrible, not great. Kind of hanging in third place in the contest down the road. So just need to have a 5-2 week this week.
Wait, you're in that contest? The one that Bear won last year?
Yeah.
And you're in third place?
Yeah.
You're kidding me. Well, then why does everybody give you all this shit on social media?
Because they hate me.
You're in third place? Wow. Huh.
I started off the year really bad. I was like 2-4 week 1. I was like 3-5 week 2. It's not been a great year. And then I went 6-1, and then I went 6-1 again, and then I went 5-2, and now here we are. And then I went. Why do
you think all these people on X or Instagram? Why do they hate you? Well, you're a lovely girl. You're super friendly. I mean, what?
I mean, I really am in real life, but I think on social media I kind of act like an asshole, and people are either intimidated by it or they don't understand being an alpha female. And Listen, it's been this way my whole life, John Murray. I was talking to my aunt because she went to the game with me, and she goes, I remember looking at your grade cards, and you would have good grades in the classes that the teachers you liked, and you would have bad grades in the classes of the teachers you hated. She goes, and it would be so funny how one teacher's notes could be like, pleasure to have in class, always participates, works really hard, great work ethic. And then the other one would be like, disrupts class, this, like all the negative comments. And she's like, how can you have teachers whose doors are right next to each other? One loves you and one hates you. It's just been that way my whole life. People either get me or they don't.
I got in trouble as a young man for disrupting a lot of classes myself. Do you want to do, and look how we turned out. I mean, look at us now.
That's probably why people hate me. They're like, she's a fuckhead. Why does she get to do this for a living? And I have to have a real job.
I don't think that you're a fuckhead. All right, college football. I got a few. Can I say this? Last Saturday was the best college football slate of the year. That was an awesome day.
I would probably agree with that. There was a lot of really great games.
The matchups were really good. The games themselves were really good. Great Saturday. This Saturday, not so much. I don't really think this is a great weekend for college football, but I've jotted down some sharp plays, but I'll let you. You've got the long list.
I got a lot. I have a lot of work to do. I've been on media since 9 o'clock this morning, so I've got probably like 9 more games that I need to break down. It's been a long day. I haven't even looked at college basketball.
I've already done 2 shows today.
Oh, well, I'm on show number 7. And I did 3 social media clips. I had to do one on why I thought Caleb Williams should be getting made fun of for crying. And then I did one on Jason Kelsey, why he didn't win Man of the Year.
It's not a contest, but I've already done 2 shows today. Go ahead. Show us your long list. Show it to the camera.
Oh, you don't, I've got all sorts of.
Is it just one piece of paper?
No, it's all my notes. So my long list for my parlay is Penn State, Duke, TCU, Utah, Sam Houston State, which I know nothing about other than they don't cover, Colorado, and Miami of Florida.
Wait a minute. Whoa. You know nothing about them? How did they end up on your long list?
I got a text. I got some people that follow some of these like smaller conferences. Just like every once in a while, I get some good info in the MAC, or I get, I don't know, random, like I would have never been on Maryland last week except for somebody, never mind.
Wait, was that the only one of your parlay that lost?
Yeah, of course it was.
Oh, no.
I knew it was going to be. I knew it was going to be too. But here, in your defense, I could have had, in your defense, USC also lost, K-State also lost, Colorado State also lost. So it doesn't matter.
Every wise guy was on Maryland. They got killed by Penn State.
I know.
They got absolutely
10.5. I bet it early. I agreed. Every wise guy this week seems to be on KU, and I don't understand that either. So here we are.
That was a sharp play. This week, North Carolina against Duke, they keep pushing that number up all the way up to 14.5. We've been taking sharp bets coast to coast on North Carolina. They bet it here. They bet it in New Jersey. They bet Pitt -2 at Syracuse. That game's going to be a tough watch, I think. That's going to be a tough game to watch. Temple, they took 7.5 at South Florida, and they took Appalachian State against Georgia State. Nothing really to report in the Michigan-Penn State game. Right now, we're at 4.5. You complained about Kansas State. Am I free to complain about something? I'd like to complain.
I'm here for it.
I don't like having the best game of the week at 9 a.m.
Oh,
I don't. Yeah. We've had too many of those. I mean, last week, I don't know that Kansas State, Texas was the best game, but it was one of the best games. We had Ohio State, Penn State. That was a 9 a.m. game. Oklahoma, Texas was at 9 a.m. It usually is. And then, of course, Michigan, Ohio State, the best game of the year in college football. That game is a 9 a.m. game in 3 weeks. This game's at 9 a.m. That's not good for business on the West Coast. I blame Fox.
There's a lot of complaints about East Coast, like for primetime NFL games, but I'd rather go to bed anyway. But I would have to agree. I like getting up on Saturday and I still have time to work. Like when I used to get up at like 5 a.m. on Saturday and Sunday, I was exhausted by the afternoon slate. Now it's just like normal.
Do you watch Sunday Night Football, or is that too late for you?
I mean, I watched it this last week.
You did? I watched some of it last week.
I mean, we had money on it.
No, I know, but I got home and I wanted to walk the dog, and I missed most of the game. But I saw that we won.
Your best bet, and you didn't even watch.
I very rarely watch. Can I say this too? I'm going to take a victory lap, not because I'm 9-0 on this, and that's neither here nor there. Everyone is starting to come around to what I've been saying for years about the officiating in the NFL. Everyone's finally seeing it.
I've seen like 18 TikToks about it, and I'm like, John Murray, you should have done a TikTok in 2017.
I don't think TikTok was around in 2017, was it? I think at that time X was called Twitter. Yeah, no, people are finally starting to get it.
I thought Meta.
Oh, is it called Meta?
I don't know.
Did you see the did you see the roughing the passer penalty they called on? They used to be the Redskins, then the football team. Now they're the Commanders.
With Mac Jones.
Oh my God.
I was not watching the game, but I absolutely saw the replay. I'm not sure what pass interference is anymore. I'm not sure what roughing the passer is anymore. I'm not sure what a lot of the things are. I mean, why is there not more consistency?
The NFL right now, the product is not great, and I think it's mostly because of the quarterback play. I think that's number one.
Who's your number one quarterback as it stands today, November 8th?
The best player in the NFL is Patrick Mahomes, but Joe Burrow is right there. Joe Burrow, and we've talked about this. I know you don't want to tip our hand too much on Survivor, but
I mean, we have to talk about Survivor. That's why we're doing Survivor. But I'm asking, how far do we go into this when we stop saying, okay, we're done? I mean, I think we can talk about it through Thanksgiving at this point. No,
but you and we talked a few weeks ago about people that were using the Bengals as Survivor, and we were talking about how we think they will be one of the best teams in the NFL by the end of the year. And I think that was pretty prophetic by us. Cincinnati, when you get to December, January, they will be one of the best teams in the league. Burrow looks great. Good win on Sunday. They beat the Niners.
A lot of people are going to use them this weekend, and I don't.
No, they will.
Oh.
Well, let's just, before we go into the NFL, let's talk about it. So Kelly and I don't know that it's a unique situation, but we are in a situation where we have both Dallas and Detroit. We've saved both of them for Thanksgiving. We like Detroit more than Dallas. You know, Dallas is probably going to be a bigger favorite than Detroit on that day.
Oh, yeah. They're like, I have them 9.5 over the Redskins right now.
Oh, Commanders. But they should be favored by a little bit more. But we both like Detroit a little more, right? So
here's my problem. The Cowboys last year was kind of an anomaly, but they have not historically played well on Thanksgiving. A few years ago,
the Cowboys could have lost that game. The Cowboys could have lost that game to the Giants last year.
I know
the final score doesn't show that, but they could have lost. And then they lost the year before to, at the time,
2020, November of 2020. I had a Thanksgiving birthday party at my house, and I remember my buddy Chad flew in because his girls were not coming home for Thanksgiving. He's like, "Well, I'm going to come to Vegas. You want to take the Redskins plus 2.5 on the road in Survivor?" Football. I said yes, and they were called the football team then, but. I did, and they ran away with it. And then he tells me, like, halftime, he's like, I shouldn't have hedged. I'm like, you hedge? He's like, I have to. You made me take a dog in Survivor. And I just felt so confident about that pick. And granted, I think some other people had the Bears. I think the Bears were 3.5-point favorites at the Lions. And I think we went out the next week or the 2 weeks after that. But regardless, I don't trust Dallas. Not that both of them aren't playing divisional teams, and not that the Giants aren't a divisional team. It'd be completely different if Daniel Dimes and the Giants were healthy.
Well, that's where we're going with this. So what we're talking about doing is because we both like Detroit better than Dallas on Thanksgiving anyway, we will most likely just take the free out. Remember in Moneyball when Brad Pitt's like, when they bunt, just throw it to first base. They're just giving you an out. They're just giving us a week, right? Just throw it to first base. We'll probably just take it with the Cowboys. Right now, Dallas is a 16.5-point favorite. They are minus 1,800 on the money line. They are the biggest favorite of the whole season. If we like Detroit anyway on Thanksgiving, which we do, I don't really see why we wouldn't just use Dallas this week. We can't. We could use, I guess, the Bengals. I don't love
I just don't love that because the Bengals are off that big game over the Bills, whether the Bills are hurt or not. That's a whole nother argument. But I also have to think, for me personally, the way I have my spreadsheet out, the Bengals play the Ravens next week. I'm not saying they're going to lose to Houston, but last week you and I went Browns, easy winner. A couple of my other ones went Saints, made me want to vomit most of the game because it just should not have been that close. And it just was. And that's what the Bengals reminds me of this week. It looks like one of those games where they may be looking ahead to next week.
Look at the NFL this season. These quarterbacks are dropping like flies. What looks like a tough game is not proving to be a tough game. Like Kelly and I used the Commanders, the former football team, in week 1 against Arizona. We thought this will be the only time of the year to use them, right? That's what we said. Next week, they play the Giants, and they're a bigger favorite than they were in week 1 because the Giants are now down to their third-string quarterback. So it's a good lesson. You don't want to look too far into the future. You don't know what next week is going to look like right now. Somebody's going to get hurt this weekend.
So on that note, do I dare say, what do we do if Jared Goff gets hurt?
Well, that's the problem. We talked about that. Let's say we use Dallas on Sunday, which we probably are going to do. What if Goff gets hurt? They play the Chargers this week. They play the Bears next Sunday. That's the other problem, too. If we do use Dallas, obviously we can't use them against Carolina in week 11.
But I don't want to use them on the road anyway.
We can't use Detroit either at home against Chicago if we've used Dallas. So we will have a tough pick in week 11. Maybe we don't talk about that one on the show, Kelly, because that one will be tough.
I already know who we're taking. It's okay. Because they're going to lose this week. They're off a bye. They're going to lose this week, and then we take them next week. I feel confident about that.
You're talking, of course, about the Jacksonville Jaguars. So
I thought you said we weren't going to talk about it.
Let's go into the sharp NFL plays we saw this week, because that's one. They took the 49ers -2.5, -120 at Jacksonville. That's probably the best NFL game this week. The Thursday night game is just ridiculous.
Well, the Sunday night game.
The Sunday night game is not a very good game. The what's supposed to be like the big 4:25 Eastern afternoon game is the Giants and the Cowboys. And then Monday night I'm going to go to Naked City. I'm going to see our boy Chris.
Well, don't tell Chris that my best bet this week is the Broncos +7.5.
We did see sharp money. I won't, unless he watches the show. Then you're screwed. We did see sharp money on the game Thursday. The Bears -3. 2 others for Sunday. The Colts play the Patriots in Germany. And right when we opened that game last Sunday, they were playing Indianapolis as a pick. And they took Pittsburgh against Green Bay.
Ooh.
I thought that one was kind of interesting. You know, Green Bay had a good win on Sunday. We talked on the show last week. Saw a lot of sharp guys take Green Bay against the Rams. That was a good pick. Green Bay easily.
Yeah,
Easily beat the Rams.
I don't understand. I understand 3 with the Steelers. I definitely don't understand it at 3.5. I mean, the Steelers are, in my opinion, playing on borrowed time. They've been outgained in every single game, and now they're down Minka Fitzpatrick and Holcomb. I'm not saying that Jordan Love is going to go out there and gunsling it by any means, but I wouldn't be surprised to see him have an okay game.
What do you think of Jordan?
3.
Don't you think one of the reasons we're leaning to Detroit on Thanksgiving is because we're more scared of Sam Howell than Jordan Love? I think so.
That's fair.
I
also am more scared of Dallas on Thanksgiving than I am Detroit on Thanksgiving. Detroit is a more balanced team.
But don't they lose every
historically? Yes, but not under Dan Campbell, and I think that they're a more balanced team.
We can't use.
They have better receivers. I mean,
they do.
They have 3 or 4 weapons. They've got a better defense.
Kelly and I cannot use the late game. San Francisco, Seattle. We already used both of them. The game on Black Friday, Kelly and I talked about, hey, if Goff gets hurt, we still have the Jets in our pocket because we already used Miami. I watched the Jets on Monday night. We're not using the Jets.
No.
So if we use Dallas,
they'd also still be like 7.5-point dogs.
I'm just telling you, if we use Dallas on Sunday, even if Goff gets hurt, we'll use Teddy Bridgewater and the Lions. We are stuck on Detroit if Dallas wins. Or just letting you know that. What are your plays in the NFL? What was your best bet last week?
Yeah, it was Seattle. They got absolutely and utterly murdered. So probably are the Broncos. I actually think the Broncos is a really good spot for a nice little middle if you use the Bills in a teaser leg. As I mentioned, the Bills' defense has just been decimated, particularly in the secondary. Is Russell Wilson good? No, but he's okay. 16 touchdown passes, 4 interceptions. If he doesn't make a mistake, this game lands 7. This game lands 4. This game can even land 3.
Everyone is criticizing Denver for that trade, and rightfully so. But when you look at Russell Wilson, you have to judge him against the other quarterbacks in the NFL. Look at the crap that's out there right now.
Well, that and it's taken this team a little while to progress. I'd like to think that they beat the Packers, then they beat the Chiefs, and then they went in their bye week. And let's just see if maybe that doesn't somehow trickle over into being a better team.
I don't know what's going on with Buffalo. They're banged up, but I've always really liked Sean McDermott. This season hasn't been great. You know, Brian Dable left 2 years ago to become the Giants head coach. They really haven't been able to step up replacing him. Josh Allen is kind of the same thing he always was, which is like this maddeningly talented guy who should be one of the 3 best quarterbacks in the league, but probably isn't because he makes so many dumb plays. I don't know what to make of Buffalo, but I could see that with Denver. I don't know how I'm going to tell Chris that we're rooting
He'll
for
be fine.
Denver.
As long as Buffalo wins, I don't think he really cares. And I can see them winning. They every time they've lost a game, they've came back and won the next game. But those teams were the Bucs and the Giants, which both covered. So I think that the Broncos will cover. But yeah, there's not a lot that I love this week in the NFL. I agree with the Sharp Group on the Niners. I don't agree with the Steelers. Raiders is really interesting. I think they're a great teaser spot as well. As you mentioned, the Jets defense, Aiden O'Connell and company out smoking cigars. Did they come celebrate at the Westgate, or did you have to meet them at the Rhino?
I don't. Nice. I don't know what to make of the Raiders right now. Look, they obviously get a boost last week because they fired the coach. There's always going to be that jump for the team. Clearly, McDaniels was not popular in the locker room. Let's be nice about it. And the team was happy with him and the new quarterback. But how is that really going to work this week against the Jets' defense is really good. Even on Monday night.
And guess what? The Jets' offense is really bad. I mean, even Max Crosby and those guys were able to put pressure last week. I don't know, man. I feel like the Raiders turned 1 win into 2, but I tease them because I'm a giant wuss.
I don't know. We'll see. I don't really have an opinion on that game right now, to be honest with you. But
I just figured that was going to be your best bet this week.
Why does everybody speculate on my bet?
I don't know. At this point, it's fun.
You
don't even have like 3 teams. You're like, hey, these are the 3 teams that I kind of like. No, nothing, no hint, no anything.
You know what? Until this morning, I didn't really know who was playing.
Okay, great. All right. Well, do you want to go to the mailbag?
Yes, I do.
Do you have anything else you'd like to report before we go to the mailbag?
No. Mailbag. Well, actually, yeah. No, I wanted to put some pressure on you to do one thing this week. Can you do like one of these same game parlays and do a video?
I've told you before I can.
That's all the rage and we have a great giveaway where if you bet a same game parlay, you can win a trip to the Super Bowl and a stay at the Westgate.
Can't call it. You got to call it the big game. You can't call it the Super Bowl.
You can't say Super Bowl. No, we got D'Onofrio. He edits the show. He'll take that right out.
Yeah, I tried to send him like a promo, whatever. Anyway, I haven't seen it yet. But yeah, I'll do something for you guys.
And you can win 2 tickets to the big game.
Yeah, and you can boost it to just ensure that it loses. Okay. So I answered this first question on X, so I'm not going to answer it. If you want to see the answer of why is Kelly so mean to John Murray, go check out my Twitter. Also, I got some complaints about Slow Dangles 23 from some of my guy friends. They seem to think it's like somebody else that we're friends with burner, and that's why I always pick the question. I don't even pick these questions. Our producer does.
Do you have a burner X account where you
do not.
You jump in and defend yourself against all these dorks?
No.
You're offended by that.
I don't even have enough time to defend myself with my own Twitter handle.
So the first question was, why is Kelly so mean to John Murray? It's because I'm always late for the show. I always
every
big
week.
time you.
We always set the over under, and it got obliterated this week. All right, 5. Kevin Voss wants to know, and I want to know actually, what is John Murray's opinions on the 2 UFC title fights this weekend, and does he think Jones versus Stipe will ever get rebooked?
We haven't seen much on the 2 title fights. Really disappointing for the John Jones fight got scrapped. Jones got hurt. Stipe says he's going to wait around for the payday, but from what I hear, John Jones kind of does whatever he wants. Like he's got enough money. He doesn't have like a Conor McGregor, Kelly Stewart lifestyle.
Oh yes,
where he's just hemorrhaging money. Like he just has like a regular life. I hope it gets rebooked.
If you have that much money, why wouldn't you have a great like lifestyle where you just hemorrhage money? I guess if I was that rich, I probably would. I would be just like Connor. There's a reason why I'm never going to be rich. Okay. Danny K731 on X says, and oh, by the way, we did have to take some of my questions from IG, but 90% of the questions that people submitted on IG were just insane. Okay. For John Murray.
What do they ask about?
I'll send you the screenshots. For John Murray, we hear a lot about sharp action moving the line. Is the opposite ever true, where you have a bettor that is so bad? Example, let's use Sammy P's bartender, that when they make a big play, you move the line in the opposite way.
No, I've never seen a guy. We have some. I'll tell you, we have some funny labels. We have labels on our bet tickers for some of our customers.
Okay. Can you tell us what some of them are?
No.
Because I got in trouble one time when I was a bartender for labeling somebody like fuckhead or something on the receipt, and I forgot to delete it when it printed out.
This is the second time you said fuckhead on this show. What's the matter with you?
I can say whatever I want on the show. I'm here for free. I'm not getting paid for the show. This is my show now.
We label the players, but we don't have anybody that's like, we have players that if they made a bet, even no matter how much it was, we wouldn't even move the line. But we don't have anybody that's so bad that's like, oh my God, so-and-so's on that, go the other way. I haven't seen that yet.
I have not either, but I still thought it was a funny question. All right, Royal LJS 12 on X says, biggest liability on college basketball futures.
Are you excited about college basketball?
I mean, I was until K-State just laid down versus USC. I was excited for like one day.
USC is a big liability.
But West Virginia got a nice win for me. Second half, that was good over Missouri State. Everybody said they were in shambles. And I said, all right, 4 is too low. We'll lay it.
What do you think of Georgetown yesterday played Lemoyne? Lemoyne's nickname is the Dolphins. And this school is located in Syracuse, New York. I mean, what's going on?
Very weird mascot. Not really sure.
USC is a big futures liability in college basketball. The usual suspects: Gonzaga, Michigan State's a good one. Kansas getting a lot of action. Kansas looks really good. I'm excited for college basketball. Not the most fun sport for the guys that have to post scores and move lines, a job that I did in my younger years. In fact, it's the worst sport by far for those guys. It's so much data entry, so much to be on top of. College basketball is tough for the bookmaker.
Hanky_Dory on X says, has there ever been a time where Vegas Murray has spited the crowd and placed an EPL football match on the main screen with the sound on during an NFL Sunday?
No, but I'm
pretty sure you sent a picture this last weekend.
Yeah, but the sound was on the NFL game. I have 2 TVs in my office. On Sunday morning, I was watching Liverpool on both of my TVs. I didn't see the Chiefs-Dolphins game because who cares? But no, NFL that's the only thing people care about.
I don't know why.
Although it should be.
First,
EPL is much better.
No, it's not. What sport is your book's least profitable by percentage, not handle?
Well, if you wanted to talk about in terms of straight bets, a sport that we don't really hold well on, NFL would be up there. We don't really hold a great percentage. We make all of our money in the NFL on parlays, teasers.
And you want me to give out a same game parlay? Do you see the irony here? And why? I get accused of working for the books and purposely giving out losers.
Yeah, because I
all
asked
the time,
you to.
and you
I
want
asked
me
you
to give out
purposely...
something that you just said is the most profitable thing for your sportsbook. Do you see where maybe I might have an issue with that?
No, I'm asking you to do me a personal favor.
Okay.
We don't look. We don't do well. We don't do well on college basketball the first couple of months. College basketball totals, first half totals, second half totals, super, super sharp. But we do awesome on college basketball in March. And why do we do so well in March? Two reasons. Number one, because everybody's parlaying everything together. And number two, by March, the lines are pretty accurate. Whereas right now, the college basketball market is all over the place. There are a lot of edges. College basketball is not a sport we do great on.
All right, the pint glass guy on X says, after the Texans' 39-37 win last week, that was a scoregami. I was just wondering if either you are enthused or slightly happy when scoregamis happen. And what would hypothetical sportsbook odds be for any NFL game to end in a scoregami, since I know they're probably not offered? I think scoregamis are super fun. There was a guy at Barstool who always posted about it, and there's been a lot of scoregamis this year.
I don't want to disappoint the pint glass guy, but
you don't give
until I read the question, I didn't know that there was a scoregami.
You didn't know there was a thing called a scoregami, or
no?
I know
there
was
one.
I
didn't
I think
know
there's been
that
like 6 or 7 this year.
My poor brother had Houston -2.5 in a football contest, and he was very south.
I had Bucks and a teaser, and I just didn't care. That would be very shitty.
My brother Peter, and he also told me he had a parlay.
Of course he did.
And
does he not know why you're rich? Okay. Anyway, Joe W113 on IG says, who'd have more trouble seeing over the offensive line, Kyler Murray or Kelly?
I mean, we'd have to go back to back, Joey, but I think Kyler Murray.
I bet Kyler Murray has like 6 inches on me. I hate to break that to everybody. That's one thing that I always think is really funny whenever I meet people in person. They're always like, you're so short. And I'm like, do I look tall on TV or in pictures? Because I'm not.
Don't you think a lot of celebrities are, when you meet them in person, are small? Like, you're pretty famous.
Okay. Stubby Bets on IG says, is it true that a majority of casinos in Vegas are going with automated bartenders? I haven't heard that.
I didn't hear that. I know that I hear that, like, I don't really do any of these things, but I hear that at some of the slot machines now, to earn a drink token or ticket, you've got to, like, it's not like at the discretion of the bartender or the waitress now. It's like the light will flash green if you've qualified for one. Are you aware of this?
I'm going to just say this. I'm going to not slander Vegas any more than I have been the last 2.5 years. So we're just going to go to the next question.
Okay.
Okay. Last but not least, no, we got 2 left.
There's 2 more.
Nick Justice.
Looks like Judas.
Okay. Anyway, Kelly, can you post your long list of 5-ish dogs so we can use it in a round robin? Thanks. Actually, most of the time I do. I did this last weekend. So I will kind of talk through some of it, but some of them I don't end up getting to the window on, even against the spread. But yes, we'll do. Wise Guy Wager on X says, which sport that is active now? NCAA basketball, football, NBA, NFL, NHL. Which one lifetime do you think you are more successful betting at?
Kelly?
Hey, is this towards me? It's by far college football. College football, then college basketball, probably even NBA, because I am so selective in the NBA. NFL is hard. That's why I don't bet that many NFL games.
Well, I did win that college football contest many years ago. You know that.
Yeah, I mean, it is.
I would say that NFL probably. I've had a good.
Is your bread and butter?
I've had a pretty good run at the NFL. I can't lie.
So why do you hate it so much?
I don't. That's a big misconception. I don't hate the NFL. Football is my favorite sport, and I don't like the way the NFL product is going. Because I love the sport of football. You know how much I love college football. I don't like the way the
flags.
Product. It's tough to watch. Like, I try to watch the ends of these games Like, did you see the last drive, Dallas, Philadelphia? It was just a flag on every play until they got down the. Like, is that entertaining to people?
I mean, I guess if you have the Dallas plus the points, you're pretty happy about it. And then until obviously the ultimate end of that, you weren't very happy. But
football is my favorite sport, and I would say that college and pro football are the sports I've had the most success betting on, that I follow the most closely. I just don't like the direction that the NFL is going in. That's my opinion.
Okay. On that note, do you have anything else you would like to tell the audience before we get off here and then you slander whoever about whatever pissed you off before the show?
It didn't piss me off. It was something that I had to handle. And when you hear the story, you're going to understand.
No, you had to be an adult?
Yeah, I guess so. Which I don't like doing that. You know that.
Of course you don't.
I'd rather just
Who wants to be an adult?
Like, I did another show today where we drank beers and a shot. Yeah, it's called 2 Beers. It's for the Westgate.
So you got to drink on the job?
I had a beer. Yeah. Hey,
and a shot. Or did you have 2 beers and a shot? Because 2 beers and a shot, I might be pretty buzzed.
Why don't we drink on our show? Who's going to
I guess we could. I need to get a sponsor. If you guys want to sponsor the show, you let me know.
Yeah. It better not be no seltzers.
I'll be quiet.
But see if you can get Modelo to sponsor the show. I'll get a deli.
Sure. I'll see if Modelo wants to sponsor the show.
I will talk to you on Saturday, and I'll try not to be late next week, but I probably will be.